Hey everyone, it's Pastor Dave from St. John in Woodbury, Minnesota. Thanks for checking out today's 5 Minutes of Hope for Tuesday, June 9th. It is crazy to think that we are actually getting close to the middle of June. Also, probably just as crazy to think that we're about halfway done with the year 2020. So, with everything going on this year, with all the craziness, time just keeps marching on. And so I do pray that on this day that you're doing okay with whatever's going on in your life, that things are going well. But as always, above everything, I do pray that you are filled with peace, with joy, with hope, because you know with what Jesus has done for you. And so, as always, today a couple things for our daily devotion. Got a joke of the day that I hope you'll enjoy. I think you'll enjoy it. But also some devotional thoughts connected to God's strength and our weakness. So first, our joke of the day. So one Sunday, the pastor announced that after the worship service, that they would be having a special board meeting. And so as soon as the church service was done, the board met in the fellowship hall, but they looked around and there was actually an extra individual there. And this person was a visitor to the church. And so the pastor looked at him and says, well, I'm sorry you're here, but this is actually a meeting of the board. And the man replied, well, after today's sermon, I'm just as bored as anyone. There you go. So don't use that one against me, the next time that we have in-person worship. So there you go. Hopefully you got a little chuckle, at least a smile or a smirk out of that joke for today. So some devotional thoughts. And this has really been, again, going through my mind over the last couple of weeks. One of the most challenging parts of the last couple of weeks was, again, it was a week and a half ago when things got really bad in Minneapolis. And just watching the destruction, watching the violence, watching the anger. For me personally, the precinct that got burned down, that is my precinct. So that's where, I would often go and work from there, hang out, chat with the officers. We'd have our meetings there. I would provide snacks, food there, for the last 6 years now. And so throughout that night, just seeing all of the destruction, all the violence, all of the anger, all of the pain, I just had a sense of hopelessness. I was up that night till about 3 in the morning, just connecting with the other chaplains, texting. But again, that sense of hopelessness was really resounding with all of us because there just wasn't anything we could do. We couldn't go down there and, quiet the anger, quiet the rage. We couldn't go out down there and put out the fires. There was literally nothing that we could do outside of simply praying and praying and praying. Reaching out to the people we knew, just checking in to make sure people were physically okay, that they were doing well and not in any harm or danger. And again, it was hard because, I think it's natural instinct that when you see bad stuff happening, when you see people hurting, when people suffering, there's that instinct to say, all right, there's something I need to do. I want to go and help in some tangible way. And so again, like I said, when we saw these images, when we knew everything that was going on, and to have this idea that, again, this is our city, that we're connected to this through this chaplain work, and these are our officers, and this is our community. And again, this sense of there's nothing we can really do. It was very hard. It is very challenging. But throughout this week, as I reflect upon those nights, and again, that sense of hope, not hopelessness, but helplessness. I've been reminded of these words from the Apostle Paul. This is from 2 Corinthians chapter 12. It says, but he, that is Jesus, said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore I will boast all the more gladly of my weaknesses, so that the power of Christ may rest upon me. For the sake of Christ, then, I am content with weaknesses, insults, hardships, persecutions, and calamities. For when I am weak, then I am strong. And I think that's a big thing for us to take away right now. Again, there's so much going on in the world, so much discontent, so much unrest. And again, so much of it is outside of our control. Whether we're talking about the virus, we're talking about racial issues right now, we're talking about policies that are being reexamined. Again, All of this stuff, for the most part, is outside of our control, and it can really make us feel helpless. And again, this is where we need to be reminded that in our helplessness, in our weakness, God's strength shines through. And so my prayer for you today is that if you are feeling helpless with everything going on in the world, that you would trust in God's strength, in Jesus' strength, and know that the weaker we become, the greater Jesus' power shines through.